Alright guys, well today I want to work on my airlift air management system, which is going to go in this front service body toolbox. You can see I've punched some holes and run my air lines through. I've got some rubber grommets. Not entirely sure how this is going to end up. I want to have a combination of metal and some woodwork in here. I'll probably reuse some of the steel from the service body itself, so I'm just going to sort of put things in there and test fit them and see how it looks and kind of go from there. Design build. All right, well I've got a piece of the service body that I cut out. It's one of the inner fenders, and I've laid out for a row of dimple dyed holes that will be part of the support system for my air tank and compressors. So I'm going to pre-drill some holes and then take it to the, well, I'll probably cut it off and then take it to the drill press and drill 1¼ inch holes and then take it to the dimple die, the press, and pop the dimple dies into it. My 1¼ inch hole is now an 1 3/8, which I do believe I have a die for, but it's going to cut the same size hole every time. Yeah, that isn't going to work. Okay, plan B. Well, fortunately, the messed up hole is right in the center, so I can kind of make it look like a design feature rather than a screw up. That's my plan. We'll go with that. I was originally thinking about bending this flat, but I still think I should. Bending this will be tricky though. I definitely think I want to bend that panel. Now I don't have access to a press brake, so I just perforated along the edge I wanted to bend with my plasma and folded it over my welding table. Well, I think it needs a little more bending, but I think we're also sitting up on something. Oh yes. There we go. There we go. Ouch. All right, guys. Well, it's been about 3 weeks since I worked on this. I have been racking my brain trying to figure out how I want to do this. I was going to put the batteries to the truck on the other side front box, but I've decided I'm going to put them in here with the air management system. I'm going to utilize one of the original shelves to mount my air management to. So I'll bring you in here as best I can and start installing this, and then theoretically I should be able to run the air management. I've got power, so we might make this thing go up and down the way it's supposed to here soon. Now, these aren't the batteries that I'm going to use for the truck. These are going to be too small, but they'll work for mock-up purposes. The actual wiring of the air management's pretty simple. It's just mostly powers and grounds. Everything else is in a harness that plugs together. Dang it. That's probably not enough. Dang it. All right. BRB. Okay, let's see. Oh, geez. Okay. Why is that so off-centered?
There's no way to get you guys in here. I don't know how I'm going to get a wrench in here. Might have to take the air tank loose and so I can move it around. I might have to buy some crow's feet sockets. This is going to be tough at best.
Well guys, it's been a couple weeks since I put all this in here. I ended up putting power to it off camera. Only one air compressor came on. I had an air leak. I had COVID. I just didn't feel like trying to mess with it. But the remote also wanted me to go through a calibration sequence. And I knew I had some parts coming that were going to probably change the parameters of the calibration. So I've put it away. My parts are here though. Let's take a look. Well, what I've got here, guys, is a control arm upgrade kit fabricated by Lowboy Motorsports, which is the same outfit that built my wheels. Basically, this kit is about 3" wider than the factory A-arms, and that will allow me to remove the spacer that dualies have in the front. It'll change the pivot point for the steering. It also incorporates much heavier duty ball joints with a longer range of motion, so the truck will actually be able to go lower. And the biggest thing for me is that I'll be able to now mount a front shock where I couldn't on the factory A-arm. There's just no room to have a front shock, so this is going to help out a lot. I'm going to take some measurements, pull the front sheet metal off, and get to disassembling. I don't have any air pressure in my bag, so I don't want to rip them by lifting these heavy wheels off the ground. Oh, whew. All right. Very nice, very nice. All right, disassemble time. Now I had noticed when I put these drop spindles on that the ball joints, the factory ball joints, were just about shot. The boots are torn, and they were going to need to be replaced anyway. And the only way to replace the ball joints is to replace the entire control arm. So I'm getting two birds with one stone here. And the new A-arms have ball joints that are replaceable, so that's a bonus. Cleaned up my area before I started so I wouldn't lose things, and I can't find my crescent wrench. Probably need to watch the video and see what I did with it. Found it. Probably regret this. I don't know if it comes through, but I can definitely see the difference in width. And I think there's some trimming that needs to happen here above what I've already done. These came with 0 instructions, so I'm trying to figure this out as I go. So this will go up inside. My bag will mount to that. The other side of the bag will mount flat to that. Let's fit this together and see what we end up with here. Now I already opened up this spring pocket when I did my original suspension here, but I think it has to open up more because I think the bag sits farther up into this. We're going to figure it out together. Probably shouldn't get too carried away because I need to mount the bag to that first so that I know what I need to do. Well, here's the airbag cup that they provided, and here's the one I made. Mine's about an inch taller than the new one, but I'm going to go ahead and use this first because I think that this suspension setup will let the truck sit even lower than I had it, and I pretty much have the body sitting on the tire, so it can't really go any lower. And B, my air fitting won't fit through here without grinding this out. So yeah, I don't know what this is supposed to be for, but it doesn't fit my airbag, so we'll put mine back in. Looks like I'm going to need to clearance this a little bit. Again, some instructions would have been pretty cool. So far, I'm not enjoying this process. That being said, I've never replaced control arms before, so I don't know if it is an enjoyable process. Good grief. I'll obviously have to have the caster and camber set by a professional once I'm done, which I might take it to a tire shop without any of the front sheet metal on. That might make it easier and cheaper. This A-arm has one hole for the airbag to mount to, and my airbag does not have a center bolt. That might be why the top cup doesn't fit either. Because these airbags that I have are they're helper springs out of a kit that you would put on the back of a pickup. So instead of one hole in the center, they've got two. So I'm probably going to have to get some different bags. Yeah, I don't know how far this needs to go. Well, let's put my spindle on. Come on. Oh my gosh. Whew. I do not have this in an ergonomic position. Does this bolt even go through there? No, it does not. Man, I wish this had some instructions. Well, all right, guys, a couple weeks have passed since I discovered my bolt hole problem. I emailed the manufacturer. They said, yeah, you've got to drill a 3/4 inch hole here and a 5/8 hole where the tie rod connects, as well as where the other end of the tie rod connects on the drag link for the steering. I found these reamer bits on Amazon, 5/8 and 3/4. I have actually already drilled the other side, so I know they work, and they work pretty darn slick. I was kind of worried about this, but I'm going to go ahead and get this spindle drilled out so that I can get it installed. Also, a friend of mine had the airbags that I needed that have a center bolt hole on the bottom, so I will be able to put the correct bags in. The other side seemed to have gone better. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Bend it, or is it just loose? Dang it. Bent the bit. Oh, no worries. Okay. All right. This bottom is an actual ball joint, so it has a standard castle nut with a cotter pin and a greaser. The longer tie rod. All right, well, I got my tie rod ends and my drag links drilled out. I did end up bending the 5/8 bit as well, but I got done what I needed to do, so I guess that's a win. I believe that goes on top. I will look for some photos to confirm. Well, I gotta tighten everything down and do the other side. All right, guys, well, one step forward, two steps back. These new airbags that my friend gave me have a hole, a single hole that will work on these A-arms, but the bolts on, or the holes on the top don't line up with either of these bag cups that sit up in here, either these new ones or the ones that I built. The bolts don't line up, and the
the air doesn't line up. So what I've done is I've taken one of these over the axle bag brackets that has 2 holes and a center hole, and I basically cut it down and welded a bolt in the middle so that I can bolt this to the bottom of the bag in whatever orientation it needs to be. The stud will go through the hole in the A-arm, and that should alleviate my problem. Oh, you. I definitely won't have any problem getting these ball joints out to replace them in the future. That should help. Okay. That is starting to look like suspension. Before I get carried away tightening everything down, I'm probably going to pull the engine and clean off this frame and paint it. I really want to paint the engine too. I just want to kind of get everything mocked up here and see how she looks. All right, time to do the other side. Sounds like things are binding. I think that's as low as it goes, and that is not low enough. That's not as low as it went before, so it's pretty close as low as it was before, though, I think. I want to try hooking up the tie rods under the spindle to see if it doesn't tow so bad. That's way better. I feel like it's probably close to an inch higher than it used to be. And it's sacked out. All right, guys. Well, some stuff has happened off camera. I've just been working on this a couple minutes here and there as I can. As you can see, I've got the frame painted. I pulled the motor out, cleaned it all up, got the suspension bolted in. I still need to fabricate the upper shock mounts. I ended up moving the engine back about 4.5 inches. So this motor mount, this plate right here, that's the front motor mount plate, used to be the rear motor mount plate. So I basically flipped it back behind because I was having too much trouble trying to figure out how to fit a radiator and an intercooler. And so I've taken a pretty big chunk out of the firewall. And so I'm going to be working on rebuilding that. But anyway, I hope to do a better job of filming moving forward. I got my logo on my door. But anyway, that's where we're at right now. Well, guys, this video has taken me about 3 months to film and finally put together, but now you are up to date. And I don't know when I'm going to have some time to work on this thing in the near future, but I will be able to be buying some parts here soon. I want to order a brake booster. I want to get my intercooler and some other miscellaneous parts that I'm going to need to get this thing on the road. So I'll keep filming as I can, and appreciate you hanging out and watching this one. I think I've got a sawmill video for next week, but anyway, stick around, guys. We'll see you soon.